So anyways, Netanyahu had been aligning more and more with right-wing factions in Israel for some time, and he had become more and more corrupt. Many Israelis point to the 2015 elections, which he won with the alleged support of his corrupt media moguls involved in his criminal charges, but he was okay because he was in power and he was able to leverage that power to protect himself and his friends. But now, in 2021, he was out with mainstream Israeli politics. He had become a pariah and lost his support as a central figure in Israeli politics. And so he looked around for allies, and he found them in the furthest extreme Israeli right wing, where Jewish supremacists, settler colonialists, genocidal terrorists had all been waiting for their day in power. And Bibi decided that given the choice between facing his charges and probably going to prison, or taking Israel down a genocidal, racist, and supremacist path, he chose the latter. He chose to go to any length to retake power and escape prison. Now meet Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich, two of the most prominent and clear examples of the path that Netanyahu has taken his country down. Both live in illegal Israeli settlements on stolen land in the West Bank. Both have participated in and support Jewish terrorism in the past. They represent the most fervent, fascist, religious extremism of the Israeli right wing. They represent the beliefs of many Jewish supremacists in Israel that the Palestinian people should be eliminated and ethnically cleansed at any cost, that they are goyim and not deserving of the same rights as Jews. And now they have a stranglehold over Benjamin Netanyahu, even if he wanted out of the toxic relationship, which there's not necessarily indication that he does. But because they represent the right-wing coalition that elected him, if Netanyahu doesn't appease them, he will almost surely lose his position and maybe be locked up. Smotrich not only lives in an illegal Israeli settlement in the West Bank, but he actually lives outside of its borders as an active expansion of that settlement, which is a great metaphor for his political and religious perspective. He was literally arrested in 2005 for being a Jewish terrorist, though the investigation never pursued charges. The Jerusalem Post reports that, as finance minister, he is working to cut off the Palestinian Authority from Israel's financial system. He is using his authority to stop transferring tax payments that belong to the Palestinian Authority and continues to prevent the return of Palestinian workers to Israel, together with his partners in the government and against recommendations of all security officials. As a result of these actions, the security forces are now alerting about the collapse of the Palestinian Authority and the dire consequences for Israel's security if such a scenario takes place. The economic strangulation of the Palestinian Authority carried out by the Israeli government occurs while money from Iran continues to flow to the West Bank with the aim of promoting terrorist attacks. Smotrich is not stupid, the Jerusalem Post reports. He understands the security dangers in the collapse of the Palestinian Authority's economy, but this is exactly his goal. His ideological partner, National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, also supports the vision of chaos driven by Iran and the efforts to weaken the Palestinian Authority. During Jerusalem Day celebrations, Ben-Gvir stated that his policy is that Jews would be allowed to carry out religious rituals on the Holy Temple Mount. This is the faction that dreams of the day when they can destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque and rebuild the Jewish temple on the Temple Mount, which is the symbolic center of the global religious conflict between Judaism and Islam. That course of action would almost certainly spell global war, quite likely nuclear in nature. And both of these men are intentionally stoking dissent, stoking division, and stoking chaos in the West Bank